Hey guys, Chris here. In this video, I'm going to give you guys my 3-month, 7,000 kilometers review of my Porsche Taycan 4 Cross Turismo. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you guys my experience with this car for the past 3 months, what I really like about this car, and also a few things that, well, I don't like about this car that could be better. Now let's start with things I don't like about my Porsche Taycan 4 Cross Turismo, and one of those things is the interior practicality, or rather lack of practicality, lack of storage. So here in the front cabin you have 2 cup holders, and if you have your phone out, to, well, control the music, you're going to use one of the cup holders, meaning you actually only have 1 cup holder. That's about it. You do have some storage here below this infotainment system screen, but it's so hard to get to. It's shallow, so usually I only have my, as you guys can see, my sunglasses there, and also some baby wipes for, well, cleaning the interior, and that's about it. You have this storage compartment underneath here, which also is very small. You have a wireless charger in here, which is just the dumbest placement of any wireless charger, and it doesn't actually charge your phone very well. So I actually have a iPhone charger here that I use to charge my iPhone. So I mean, interior practicality here in the front cabin is pathetic. You have these door bins there where you have, a little bit of space. You can probably store a bottle or 2 there, but yeah, interior practicality, lack of storage is one of the huge issues I have with this car. My car is equipped with comfort access, which means you just put your key in your pocket, you step up to the car, and then it pops out the door handles, and then it unlocks the car. And then when you want to lock the car, you just press the indentations on the door handles, and then it locks the car. But there is a bug with the interior alarm sensor, which means if you lock the car that way, it will set off the alarm after 10 minutes, after 2 hours, after 10 hours. You don't never know how long time it does take. So that means if you want to lock the car properly, you have to lock it in reduced alarm mode, meaning you have to press lock and then immediately press lock. That means the third blink is a hard blink, which is really annoying every time I lock the car. One of the things I talked about in previous videos is the cruise control stalk here. I like that it actually has a cruise control stalk. I prefer stalk to buttons, but the layout is just very, very different to what I'm used to from any other car, Volkswagens, Audis that had this, even BMWs in the past, because its operation is just completely opposite of, well, my Audi e-tron GT, which is based on the same platform, basically the same car, but they made it so different. And even after driving this car for 7,000 kilometers in 3 months, I'm still, puzzled. Every time I use this, I'm like, do I push it forward? Do I pull it? Do I push it up to activate it? And this car I've equipped with InnoDrive to get, the active steering, which you have to equip to get the active steering. And there's no way to toggle active steering on and off while using cruise control, because here, while driving, in the suburbs, I like to, well, drive with only cruise control. But once I'm out on the motorway, I like to activate the active steering. But there's no easy way to do that. You have to press this button here, and then again, and then you have to scroll with this wheel here, and then you have to choose it. I know it's in Norwegian, guys, but that says auto steering or active lane keep, whatever you want to call it. I call it auto steer. That's the only way to turn it on and off, which is kind of very hard, because on the Audi I had, there was just a button on the outside of the blinker stalk here. Just pressed it to turn it on and off. Very easy. When I ordered this car back in August of last year, when I spec'd it, I kind of spec'd it for it to be easy to sell. White exterior with this black interior. And white is my exterior color. My past 5 out of 6 cars have been white on the outside, but black really isn't my thing. It's not even my second, third, or even fourth choice. I would choose a lot of colors instead of black because I just find it boring. But it's supposedly easier to sell a car in Norway with a black interior. Either it's an Audi or Mercedes, a BMW, or a Porsche. So the point of speccing this car easy to sell was because there were rumors that there were going to be introduced VAT on EVs in Norway in January of 2022. As per now, there's no VAT on EVs at all, meaning that EVs are relatively cheap compared to other cars. But if they would have put VAT on EVs, this car would have gone up in value, and that means I could have driven it for like 6 months and potentially got my money back, even make a little bit of money, but that did not happen. But my plans have changed a little bit because I really do like this car. I really like to drive it, but I'm not in love with the spec. It does have, some things that I wish now, in retrospect, I equipped it, like the 360 camera, the double glazed glass. So I mean, that's why in my last video, I actually ordered a Taycan 4S with a little bit more kit because I'm not in love with this spec. This next issue is maybe the most personal issue and may not apply to a lot of people out there because it has to do with my experience, my perspective, and the cars I've owned, and that is the performance of this Taycan 4 Cross Turismo. So this is the base version. It has 4-wheel drive, and on paper with launch mode like 476 horsepower, but that's only for a few seconds. In the real world, normal driving, it has like 380 horsepower, which is fine and plenty. Does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.1 seconds with a top speed of 220 kilometers an hour. But I've had a few fast cars up to this point. My previous car was an Audi e-tron GT, which is comparable to a 4S, does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.1 seconds and top speed of 250 kilometers an hour. I also had a Polestar 2 long-range dual motor for a long time, which does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.7 seconds with a top speed of only like 205 kilometers an hour. But still out accelerates this, and this car, to me at least, doesn't feel fast. If you're coming from another car, it will probably feel very fast, but to me, it's lacking in performance. And again, as I said, that's only me, my perspective, my personal opinion, and for a lot of people that may not even be an issue. But for me, yeah, it is an issue. One of my absolutely favorite things about the Taycan Cross Turismo is the interior build quality. So the design is quite simple. It's not flamboyant, it's not very flashy, but the build quality, the fit and finish, the sense of solidity in this cabin is second to none. It's better than any BMW, any Mercedes, any Audi I've driven. It's so precise, everything. It just feels so solid. All of these buttons, all of these knobs here with leather here. Yes, I do have the leather upgraded package where you get leather on the steering wheel cover, on the dashboard here, on the center console, here on the doors. It's just a beautiful interior with beautiful materials. And I'm just so impressed by everything, like the window switches. Everything just sounds and feels high quality. The door release, everything. And then, you know, this has frameless windows, but it has such a solid closing sound. Everything you touch, the buttons here, the gear selector, everything is just so solid, and I mean quality is top class in this car. So this car is equipped with the Bose sound system, which is an upgraded sound system. Here in Norway, you can even get a Burmester, which is even more expensive. But this is about 14,000 kroner here in Norway, about 1,400 euros. If you want to go for the Burmester, it's about 60,000 kroner, so 6,000 euros. A big price difference. That system is more than 4 times the price. So I got this because I didn't want to spend too much money on this car. And I have to say, I'm actually impressed by the sound system. It's not the most powerful, but it's so precise and clear in the sound stage. Some music it's not too good with, like maybe rock from the 90s and 2000s. It's not impressive with. Modern rock is better, but 90s and 2000s rock is maybe its weakness. But I mean, even hip-hop from the 90s, 2000s, and modern hip-hop, EDM from the 90s, 2000s, and modern fits this car very well. And I haven't driven this car almost 7,000 kilometers and spent a lot of time listening to the sound system, and at a high level, there isn't a single rattle in this car. Not a single sound that's not supposed to be here. And that is testament to the interior quality and also this sound system. So I was, skeptical about the sound system. I've had some great sound systems in cars. The, Bowers & Wilkins in the Volvo XC90s I've had are one of the best sound systems in any car. Check out Savage Geese's channel for his instrumented testing because he confirms that. That's one of the best sound system ever. This isn't there, but it's a pretty solid sound system even though. At 64% stated charge, we are charging at 101 kilowatts at this 150 kilowatt charger. Not the best speed I've seen out of this car, but definitely not bad. 102 kilowatts at 64% stated charge. It will probably keep this speed up to around 85% and then start dropping off. So it's not too bad. And as you guys can see here in the gauge cluster, this car has a battery temperature readout, 32 degrees Celsius. So that should rise, and that means this speed should in theory go up if this charger here is giving us, all of the charge. But you know, if you go to a 350 kilowatt charger, this car will peak at 270 kilowatts and do 10 to 80% in around 18 minutes. It's so impressive, the charging speed of this car. And also the range with this big battery pack, you can expect on the motorway at 110 kilometers an hour to get 350 kilometers in the winter and 400 kilometers in the summer. It's super impressive when it comes to charging and range. I made quite a few videos on my Taycan Cross Turismo now, and I'm probably repeating myself in a lot of ways. And a place where I'm going to repeat myself again is the way this thing drives. The driving experience, the sense of solidity behind the wheel of this car is second to none. It's a lot better than my Audi e-tron GT, though I still love the Audi e-tron GT's exterior styling more than this. That's such a beautiful car. This does look nice, but not as nice as that. But okay, I digress. We're talking about the driving experience. So this is on 2-chamber air suspension. In normal mode, it soaks up most of the bumps. It's so smooth. And you know, this road here is a road where I test a lot of cars. If you saw my Mach-E GT review with the magnetic dampers, this is a road where that car would not cope. It would just feel bouncy and would never settle. This car though, we're gonna turn around here again. This car just feels, you don't feel the bumps. It's like, where did those bumps go? And they have not resurfaced this road in many years. Trust me, guys. So we're gonna turn around here and then we're gonna go back on that same road, because this air suspension, the way this car's tuned, is so impressive. And this is on 20-inch winter wheels now. Next week I'll get the summer rubber on, the 21 inches, so I can't wait. But this road here, before we get to that section, the sense of solidity. So along with this cabin, this chassis, this thing feels like it's built to last a million years. And then we have the steering feel, which this actually has steering feel. So the weighting and the way it feels like normal driving is so satisfying. But once you start pushing it and the front wheels start to lose grip, you can actually feel that through the steering. I cannot remember the last time I could feel that through the steering wheel in a modern car, let alone an EV. That is so impressive. The ride comfort, these seats, though the sport seats are comfortable enough, and also the cabin noise is very good. Though I would opt for the double glazed pane if I was speccing a car again, which I did yesterday because I ordered another Taycan Cross Turismo. So it could be a little bit quieter. It's not as quiet as an Audi e-tron 55, but it's quieter than the e-tron GT, which this car is related to. But okay, going over this bump, this is a bad road, guys. This is a bad road, but, and it has these undulations like this, but I'm just not feeling that to any extent in this car. Like here, it dips like this. If this was that Mach-E GT on magnetic dampers, it would be all over the place. Go watch that video. I'm driving on the exact same road and I'm just sitting like this. It's not very pleasant. This may not have the most practical interior space when it comes to storage, but the actual size of the interior is quite spacious. I mean, these front seats, I have a lot of room to the door, between the seat, to the passenger, to the front windshield. I mean, the front cabin is quite spacious. It does not feel cramped at all. Even taller people will be fine here. And then you have the back seats, which may look cramped or small in pictures, but actually, I mean, people who are 6 foot have no problem sitting behind themselves here at all. And this being the Cross Turismo, you have, you know, that more headroom in the rear. And then you have the trunk space, which, this being a station wagon, is plenty, 440 liters on paper up to the windows, and then you have that space above that, and then you have that 81 liter frunk in front. So combine those two, 550 liters almost, and you have that space above the window. So this is quite a practical car, especially considering, you know, the normal Taycan. So that is something I like about this car, is just how practical it is. So there we have it, guys. That was my review of my Porsche Taycan 4 Cross Turismo after 3 months and 7,000 kilometers. And as you guys may have, you know, caught on from the video, the things I don't like, most of the things I don't like are personal to me, you know, like the performance, like the spec, and stuff like that, which, you know, if you're looking for a Taycan Cross Turismo, may not even be an issue for you. But there's a reason why I yesterday ordered a Taycan 4S with a different spec. That's to get, well, the spec I want, the kit I want that I didn't kit this with, the color of the interior I want, and also the performance. But that's just me. Me personally, I think a Taycan 4 Cross Turismo for a lot of people is a perfect car, and also you're going to save a lot of money compared to a 4S, which is about 15 to 20,000 euros more spec for spec. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.